Let me check we are live. Okay, perfect. We are live. So we're gonna be starting in a second. Hello, guys and girls. Hello, guys and girls. Anatoly is here, and today we have a special live stream podcast with one of my really greatest friends on online world, who I met back in 2017, and he knows more than anyone else about me, about my struggle in past, about my success, about the journey which I had since 2017 till today. And the same thing is happening from my end. I know a lot of stuff about his fails, about his wins, about incredible journey which he has made since we met each other online back in 2017. And one of the things which is I'm going to be sharing with you on this podcast, it's exactly like a kind of storytellings from our past, and in the same time my guest will be sharing as well his journey, how he was able to achieve that kind of success which we have. So basically, let me just introduce my guest. His name is Nex Martin, and he is 30 years old, entrepreneur, half Hungarian, half Syrian, and he based in Tucson, Arizona. In 5 years, he went from being a former taxi driver to own multiple six-figure companies, including a successful software company selling algorithms for Forex trading software, opened his own Forex brokerage, and a quantum solution company where his team of engineers built algorithms for traders and financial firms. His latest business he's working on right now is a data crunching e-commerce platform that uses AI to help people scale their stores on Shopify, and that's one of the things definitely I want to speak about more at the end of our conversation. So next, man, I really love to see you here. It's an amazing because we are have these kind of conversations again and again since 2017, but never thought to record this podcast and go through our memories, and share with the audience, because you and me, we went through the several incredible things which were looks unmanageable, but we done it, we make it happen. Your journey with with your love, how you were trying to be together since she's from US, you're from that moment UK. A lot of things happen on your end, so I love to hear from you a lot today. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Anatoly, for this introduction. And yeah, I'm doing great. I just woke up a couple hours ago, had some meetings going, and that's pretty much it.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. So you, as I know, you going to sleep super late usually. You wake up quite early, and thank you for take this spot in the morning to be on this live stream. Let's just go through the beginning. Can you share with the people about where it has been started, why you have decided to change your journey and go to another direction, and what was the reason for that?
Yeah, for sure. So I think it probably all started in June 2014. Actually, no, let me go back a little bit. March 2013. It was probably one of my darkest months in my whole life. I remember I had a very, very basic job, and I lost my girlfriend, I lost my job, and I had a lot of family problems back then. So it was probably one of my darkest months in my life. And eventually, this led to the point where I left Hungary and I moved to England in 2014 June. I used to live with a priest for about a year and a half. And then when I used to live in Manchester for a little bit, I left to Liverpool because of a girl. That did not work out at all. And since I'm a high school dropout, by the way, I had no degrees, back then whatsoever. And yeah, it was hard. It's hard when you have no degrees. It's hard when you have no businesses. It's hard when you don't really know what direction to go down on. And probably my only option was to become a businessman, become an entrepreneur, find mentors, and so on and so forth. And I believe I started my first business in 2016, 17. That was actually a social media marketing agency, and then eventually I transitioned into affiliate marketing, I believe. Yeah, and I think that's when we met. Actually, that was in 2017 November-ish, something like that, if I'm not mistaken, Anatoly, right?
November end of I believe it 27th of November, May like
November. Okay,
end of November 2017. Mark
got it.
was introduced us, Marco. If you remember
Sure.
that person, yeah, he was the person who was actually. I remember this three-way chat where like, hey,
Me too.
next, this is my good friend Anatoly. I'm like, wow, these guys from UK gonna be explaining me something. Well, I was impressed. It was my first conversations online to someone serious in e-commerce that time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I remember back then I was building my social media marketing agency, and I think when I got to like 4 clients, it was hard because back then I used to be a full-time cab driver, and in the meantime, I was actually doing this business as well. So it was really, really tough. I remember working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, and stuff like that. And yeah, yeah, it was hard. And eventually, I was finally able to leave my job and just focus on the business itself. And then around 2018, I got together with my wife, current wife, and I relocated to the US in 2019, April, I believe. I think it was April. Yeah, I basically got to the States, and since then we started a software company in the Forex space. I got extremely actively involved in trading since 2018. I think at the very beginning of 2018, something like that. And yeah, then in 2021, we started our Forex brokerage as well. And since then, yeah, things are going great. Just working all the time and hustling.
Yeah, bro, definitely. Like, this is like a really short story about your journey. Let's go back to time when we met. You were really like doing the taxi driving at that time. You were working on the part times in the same, but at the same time like me. I remember when I was finishing like a gas company. I was going to the waiter work in some villas or nightclubs, and 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. you're still awake. I mean, in UK it's already like close to the morning. You are still awake. I'm giving you a call. Like, I'm exhausted, you're exhausted, and we are speaking about our days. Like you were dealing with Indian restaurant, which was trying to always to cheat you, to lie you about the results, about the data. Let's speak about, go deeper about that, because like that's definitely our past, which is like crossed a lot. And how was that kind of feelings for you when you were running SMM agency, and why you have decided to switch to the Forex market? Especially you were like quite successful in the SMM.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting. I don't think I had too many clients, but the ones that I had told me that they are not really comfortable doing business with a company that's not located in England, which is the place where I used to live at that time. And I probably lost about 70% of my clients for some reason, unfortunately. They were very old people,
Oh, when
very,
you
very
moved to
old
you,
fashioned.
this is when you moved to US, you mean? That's
Yes,
what
yes,
now I
absolutely.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when I transitioned into affiliate marketing, I think I met a couple of people who introduced me to Forex, and we got involved with a company. I'm sure you remember which one it was. And yeah, we used to be with those guys for a couple of months, and then I just, you know, I was basically looking at this company. I'm like, I think I can probably do a better job than these guys. And since then, we got started. I got extremely heavily involved in trading, and yeah, I got caught in the game ever since.
Yeah, I remember that transition moment, like especially when you mentioned one company, which is we won't be giving any shout outs to anyone, especially for such kind of company, because that company was really not the best one. But we were in. I mean, I was testing out the forex that time. I remember as well, like as a
Right.
side hustle. I was trying like following your steps, trying to do something there. But actually, you remember how back in 2018 we were making like already you were having some income in your end. I was having income on e-commerce. I already got a business partner, Mas, for my stores. But still, we were always supporting each other, you like with some kind of extra sales online. This is actually what I was learning how to sell online when we were doing this kind of, you remember, pizza price products and so on. So
Sure.
selling the low ticket products for the people out there, like DM outreach and so on. And actually it was for the Forex market, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I can still remember it was very interesting, and I also remember that we got involved in a couple of other companies as well. I think it was some very basic companies. Like you just invest some money and that was it. And the majority of these companies obviously shut down around 2017, 18, I guess. Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting journey. I probably had to take a huge hit in 2018 when all those other businesses got shut down, where I invested a lot of money and especially in crypto. Yeah, those were definitely really hard times, and I will also never forget all those calls that we had at 2 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. We just had calls about, okay, how can we make more money? How can we build an email list? How can we do this business successfully? How can we do something together? Which is actually really interesting because we've been talking about working together since when? Since 2017, and for some reason
Well,
we just
since we, yeah.
never did until now. So
Yeah, like about the what we are doing now, I'm excited to share with the guys at the end. But like, and it's finally happening because it's true. Like me
sure.
and Next, we were thinking and speaking about like working together on some projects, like for all those years when we were moving on the different directions. But each of us like just like had this in mind that we have to create something all together. I mean, and it will be definitely successful. But when you mention about invested money in crypto, this kind of story, like about the call which I had from you, I remember it. I will be mentioned now. I remember I'm sharing a lot in the different podcasts when I'm like as a guest on some different podcasts and speaking about my past. That particular moment when it was the harder day in my life, when I understand that I lost everything. It's when you next called me. It was like maybe noon or something like that, and I was staying in gas company. I remember 14th floor, like on the middle of conference room, in the suit tie, like looks quite successful, but at the end I'm broke. There is no money. I already lost everything on eCom because nothing is working for me. And you calling me and saying, "Hey, do you remember Anatoly? This kind of company, they scam the doors." And that moment I understand that like I lost everything what I had. And you start telling, yeah, you know how many people just like suicide because of it. I like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
you know how to deliver the like danger, not dangerous, scared information, even making that more scared. You know how many people like suicide. I like, oh my god. It was so
Yep.
disaster day. This is day when you and me were lost a lot. I mean, that moment it was everything what I had.
Yeah, absolutely. Back then, I had no idea how to diversify properly. Yeah, I had no knowledge about the investing world in general, and I just put all my eggs in one basket. That basket became a very big basket, and eventually that basket was gone. So,
Um, yeah, completely. And after that, not long after, like you got robbed as well. The apartments. I
oh
mean,
yes,
before
absolutely.
moving to US, you were in UK, and oh, while
Yeah.
you were in US, this is what is was happening.
This happened actually in England. Yeah, I used to live in Liverpool for a couple of years, and I used to live at a very bad part of town. And yeah, I will actually never. Oh yes, this actually happened around 2018 when my fiance visited me. She visited me, and we went to London for a day. And I was unfortunate enough to post it on Facebook. Somebody have seen it, and I think I spent one day in London. It was just one day, and by the time I got home, I got into my well, I actually don't even know if I should say a house. It wasn't a house; it was an apartment. So, and I got in. The door was locked, by the way. So whoever went in obviously had the keys. um, yeah, they basically went in and yeah, they just got my TV, laptop, back then. I think I used to have a PS4 that was gone as well. And yeah, that's when I realized that I have to move somewhere else. So I actually moved to a very small city right next to Liverpool that was called Runcorn. That's what I moved to. And while I lived there, I was waiting for my visa to go through and just leave the country.
Yep, yep. Like the why I'm mentioning this all up, because like people has to understand that it doesn't matter how successful it looks. I mean, the journey of the person. Like I remember, I was looking on you. We haven't met that all that time online. I was looking on you like you were more successful than me in terms of like SMM agency, and I was just starting my journey in ecom, and and you had so much going on in your life that I was what the fuck like so like nobody knows, nobody knows how much shit is happening in and pitfalls in the business and personal life, and you have to handle with that. And you were actually example for me as well, additional, like when I knew that I should not quit, and I know like okay, even on that side there is already some income from SMM, there is already something happening, and the guy is dealing with all of that. So it was a big example for me, and one of the motivational as well conversations when I hear what is happening, how you handling it, and we supporting each other. It was really like I believe important part of my journey for me personally. And according like when I remember I supposed to actually come to your wedding. It was already 2019, and I supposed to be on your wedding in US, but unfortunately I haven't been made it. I never been in US that moment. But we met each other in November 2021. We went together to Hollywood for 1 week, and it was quite awesome,
Yeah,
quite like really enjoyable journey if you remember it.
of course
Had
I
a
do.
lot
Yeah,
of fun there
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it was great. I mean, I think probably that was my first time in California, actually. And yeah,
for me as well.
um,
Yeah.
one of my biggest dreams was always to see the Hollywood sign and take that very amazing specific photo that you helped me with.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was great. That
I
was great. And I think the second you left, I think 2 weeks later, the entire thing started. Between Russia and the Ukraine, and the whole situation just took a turn.
Yeah, it was 3 months before the war. I agree with you.
Three
You
months. Okay.
know, yeah, like regarding what you mentioned about the picture, like with Hollywood signed. I just few days ago, I don't know why, it just happened on Sunday. I was watching old photos with my son, and I have seen those photos in Hollywood. I was start laughing because I remember how hard it was to make that particular photo, how
I
specific
know.
it was. It was
Yeah.
really funny. And I was thinking like, yeah, that's definitely the moments which is I'm gonna be remember about like my first visit, and especially the person who following, like, to guys, to let you understand, the Nex is such a specific person in terms of, if he wants to do something right, it's supposed to be exactly right, not just okay, no, it's just supposed to be exactly by millimeters of the, like, I remember the leg, the arm on the photo is exactly the example of the next when he's doing business. He's exactly doing the same way like he done that photo. It's so funny, but it's exactly the specific of you and how you dealing with the things. So when you move to US, IT business haven't been started right away. I believe you met in US your business partners. Can you share with the audience how you met them? Because I know that you met them online as well. For people out there, will be really powerful to hear how important to make the network online, and this is what came for you as opportunities. Like, can you please share this with our audience?
Yes, for sure, absolutely. And that was probably one of the biggest decisions I've made actually in 2016. So when I started my first business, which was a social media marketing agency, I tried to learn as much as possible about the whole business. And I remember I was trying to find a mentor, and I was in a Facebook group where somebody made a post, and the post was saying, "Hey guys, I actually have 7 restaurants. I have multiple businesses, and if you want to know exactly how to talk to people who own restaurants and how to actually, or potentially get them as a client, then feel free to send me a message and I'm happy to help. So the first thing I did was I sent him a message and I said, hey, so that's basically what I've been doing. It's not working. What do you think? And so on and so forth. So we actually had a few conversations. He gave me some good advices and stuff like that. And it was pretty good. But that was the first time we talked. And then we haven't talked for about 6 months or 7 months or something like that. And later, he had a couple of questions about a specific store, about how to actually use a third-party company to print out shirts and actually ship them to the client. And for some reason at that time, I was actually doing just that. So I knew the steps and I just basically laid out everything I used to know about Shopify and the t-shirt business specifically. So then what happened was he was very grateful. He said, "Oh yeah, that's awesome. I had no idea that that's how it's done." So yeah. So then we haven't talked for another maybe 6 months or so. And eventually, when I joined this Forex company and I started posting my results, he reached out to me. And eventually, he also got involved. He got hooked. And eventually, when this particular company shut down, I told him, hey, I think we can do better. And he said, sure, let's do it. And since then, we are in business on a day-to-day basis. He is also my mentor when it comes to life and business. And yeah, that's pretty much how it all got started. And I believe it's very important for somebody to have a lot of connections. And I probably got about 70% of my connections through him because this guy had a very powerful circle. He knew a lot of formal NFL players. Um, he knew a lot of doctors, defense attorneys, and so on and so forth. But because he was always traveling, he asked me to help these guys out with the AI software that we are selling. So I jumped on a call with a defense attorney. I will actually never forget that one moment. It was 2019 December, something like that. And one day I got a call from this defense attorney. He said, "Hey, Nex, I got your number from your mentor, and I have a few questions about the software, how it works, and stuff like that." I said, "Sure." So I helped him out as much as possible. I was very, very quick as well. I remember I got a message from him at like 6 a.m. and 6:05, I already gave him all the answers and basically all that. And one day, when I had a phone call with him, he ended the call by saying, "Oh, Nex, thank you so much for all your help. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you need anything." Oh, no, no, no. He said, "If you need anything, you know my number." That's what he said. And then I realized, wow, this just came from a very powerful defense attorney who owns one of the biggest firms in Tucson. So I'm like, okay, so that's how you basically build connections. So then I was on the right track. Now I knew how to actually build connections because obviously I helped these guys out. I showed up without exception. And eventually this got to the point where in 2021 June, my mentor called me and he said, "Hey, today we have a dinner with a very, very specific customer, and he wants me to come because, since this guy has very, very specific questions about the software." I said, "Sure." So I had no idea who I'm actually meeting. And then when I showed up on this dinner, I realized that this guy is a former NFL player, a very big one actually. And this guy had 1,000 questions, and eventually we became good friends. And all of a sudden, in about 2 years, two or maybe yeah, 2.5, I realized when I looked at my phone book, it was doctor, NFL player, attorney, doctor. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
my entire phone book just changed. Now, instead of seeing people, from factories and stuff like that, now I just see a bunch of lists of people. And I'm like, wow, I did this just by showing up and being kind and helping. I was never rude. I was never condescending. Most importantly, I was never lazy to help them. Now, this eventually backfired because obviously, when people get used to the VIP treatment, where hey, if I call Nex at 2 a.m. at 2:05, he will probably respond. And obviously, by the time when I got busy and stuff like that, I wasn't able to get back to people that quickly. It was just impossible because I think at this point we have about 200 to 250 clients in the software company, so my time became limited. And that's when I was like, well, I know you guys expected the VIP treatment, but at this point, I probably have to slow down a little bit because there are way too much going on. And I think that's where you came in play when you visited me in 2021 October, 2 days before we went to Disneyland. You told me
Mm-hmm.
that next you need to hire people. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure, but I mean, what happens if they do something wrong? What happens if this and that? And then eventually you convinced me that there is no such thing as perfect. You just have to get started and tweak on the way because you never know what's perfect anyway. The only way to know what's perfect is if you first start, see what's working, and if a piece of it is not working, just change and just move on and improve. So yeah, you helped me a lot when you said that. I remember when you guys left around the end of November. If I started hiring immediately, and then I noticed that my time is just, now I have a bunch of more free time. But I didn't spend that time to just be lazy and stuff like that. I actually found more work, and I was like, okay, what happens if we start a new business? What happens if we do that? And since then, yeah, I own multiple businesses at this point, and yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, it was a bit of a journey.
when you mention it, I actually even really forget like this part of our conversation, and you just remind me because I remember we were sit down. I'm not smoking, but I mean we were in cigar room before during the day. I had
Yeah.
amazing conversation with this list of people which you mentioned. Like it was really awesome one. It's what my first experience in the cigar room ever, and with the a great surrounding. And after that, in the evening, like me, you, we were sit down and smoke another cigar, and like next to the swimming pool. I remember we just talking about the life, about everything, and this is exactly where we came to conclusion that you have to start hiring people. I remember I had to convince you. You were having
Yeah.
so many but, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
The, it's actually that's exactly how we supporting each other, because let's go back to 2007 2018 when we were already like on the journey together, when I was thinking how to make extra hustle income online. Next came to me, man, bro, you have to see it, you have to see it, like always, like he is like that, he is always when he has something, he's so
Yeah.
excited. I mean, when we can have a call, when can you have a call, like okay, I jump on the call, what's happening, yeah, you have to watch it. And he sent to me login details for the course, which was $1,000 cost, Ty Lopez SMM agency course. For me that moment, $1,000, it was incredible amount, which is like I cannot afford for myself, and someone is just giving to me login details as a gift, like hey, you have to watch it, it's insane. And this is who he is. I mean, this is like Nex, really supportive, and as he said, being nice and being himself. It's not even being nice. He is who is he, as a clear, honest person and helpful all the time when you even not asking. And this kind of course helped me make a couple of clients for SMM when I left from Dubai to Kyiv. I got like gym client, I got beauty salon client, and something else. What was that? Like a kind of a coffee shop. So it was three business owners, which is who I was running lead gen because of him. Because like he shows me like, listen, this is insane. I was watching it, really blew my mind, and I was so I till today I appreciate for that course. Plus
Of
like
course.
all the time, all this extra sales online. This is exactly, hey man, I have something for you, I have something to share all the time. And now from recent time, I would tell you what you helped me out with. Like we are quite okay right now, everyone busy with their companies. But you remember around December when I had problem with the heart, I had some like mental problems as well, which is affect my company. And like he just came to me and listen, Next said to me, you have to watch it. And he sent to me 8 hours video, like that course, another course, you have to watch that. Like, oh, I was so down, like I don't really want to watch anything right now. I have problems here and there, I need to fix that, I have problems with health. But he like insist me, you must watch it. Have you watched it? After a week, I remember you asked me, have you watched it? I said not yet, you have to watch it. So he insisted me, and it was the best decision for me to make it. Thanks, man, a lot, because
Sure.
it so tweaked my energy. It tweaked my understanding of a lot of things which I start forgetting because of the war, because of like I become a kind of homeless without the country, was moving to Portugal. It was so much things happening in the same time, and you became from nowhere and said, "Hey man, you have to watch it." And you didn't even know what's happening on my end, on back end. You
Yeah,
just like pushing me to watch it, even if everything is great. I really appreciate who you are, seriously.
of course.
That's what I want to say to everyone who is next, and if you are in the financial niche, which is like Forex or something related to the trading, his IT company, it's actually something what is one of the most reliable companies out there for the automation by using AI systems for trading. And I want to move to this particular subject with you because we are speaking. You find out the partner, like you just decided to create a company, and here you go. You have several companies out there, but nothing it was so easy. I mean, you built first company, the first one. I remember you spent around 6 or 9 months, something like that. You start April, and by New Year or something, it was 2020 or so. Yeah, 2020, I guess. You were creating software which is became the leader on the market, the better than the competitors. There was a lot of struggles. I mean, find out the right IT
Yeah.
person, for like share with people how to open your IT company when you don't know anything about IT, especially in Forex market. How is anyone can do that? Can you share this kind of formula from your own
Sure.
experience?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, one thing that I learned is that you need to know how to leverage people. And that's actually something that I learned from you. But at the same time, I was already doing that unconsciously. So you actually don't have to know anything about coding or website, development and basically any of that for you to have a website development company. You actually don't personally have to know about that particular subject, because if somebody comes to me right now and says, "Hey Nex, I actually would like to build a very complex, whatever," even if I know nothing about the subject, I will still tell him, "Yes, it's possible. Yes, sure, no problem." And then I will find someone who can do it. He will do it for you. And all I do is just, basically tell that person, "Hey, put a 15%, markup on the price," or something like that. So it actually, having your IT company is extremely easy, especially because most people who are young, they just recently came out of school or something, they have no jobs, they are happy to work for free. So if you go to any of these guys and says, "Hey, I have some work for you. This guy wants a site. Can you do it?" He's probably going to do it very cheap, and you can still bill whoever requested the website some huge amount if you want to. So going back to your main question as far as how to start an IT company. So for me, it was very interesting. First, I reached out to someone because we needed a VPS for our software company to work, and we wanted to partner up with a VPS company. At that time, we still weren't launched. So this person, the actual owner of the VPS company, said, "What time are you guys launching?" And I was like, "Well, I have no idea. We still have to build a site." So this guy said, "You know what? I actually have all the teams. We can build this site for you for free if we get a deal from you guys' business." And I said, "Sure, okay, let's do it." So the second that happened, obviously I had to guide their team on how to actually build a site. And while I was doing that, I was able to build a very, very healthy relationship with these guys. And eventually I found myself around a team of web developers, engineers, and yeah, it was good. And then I was like, maybe we can build an app. And the same people said, "Sure, we can do that." So then eventually I was like, okay, but that's still not enough. So eventually I got into coding a little bit as well myself. I learned about web development and all that very, very fancy stuff, not to learn actually how to code and build things, but just to be able to communicate better with the actual development team. is the same thing. Some people who are in business, they say that they don't want to learn anything about, finance and, accounting and stuff like that, because they say, hey, well, you can just hire, an accountant. And it's like, well, yes, you can, but you still have to know how to have a conversation with these guys, especially when they are not using basic terminologies. So yeah, that's basically how I did it, and I just basically had to guide the development team on my ideas, and they did the work. Some of them were placed on. Well, actually, I learned another good thing from you in 2021 when I asked you how do you take care of your employees, and you said you frequently ask them about their goals, and that's exactly what I did. And the same day, I actually asked one of them, "What's your dream?" And he said, well, my dream is to be on a monthly salary of this amount. And I said, sure. And within the next 30 days, I said, hey, for the next 30 days, I will give you tasks. I will give you daily tasks. That's exactly what you have to do. If you do it for exactly 30 days, no excuses, no laziness, I will get what you want. And eventually he succeeded and he got it. So it was very interesting. Once you put them on salary, it's much more easier to move forward because even if you have an idea at 2 a.m. in the morning, I know that I can give that task to the development team. They can build it, and then I can see if it's a viable business concept or not. If it is, great. If it's not, scrape it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So anyway, going back to your main question, as far as how to start an IT company, in one sentence, I would just say find cheap developers, and they have the ability to build whatever you have in mind, and build a very healthy relationship with them because they have the ability to shut down your business within 1 second if they wanted to. So they are probably the most valuable team members of yours, I would say.
Yeah, overall, in your business, I believe like if something going wrong in the communication, he really can screw it up by just close all the project which he started, and even another IT person will come. They won't be able to continue his work because, as I know, in IT it's really difficult technical side. If someone was starting his own way, then another person will come and he want to go his own way, and which is means like it's not connected, and he will start over again from scratch by his own journey. Am I right? This is like the really minuses in terms of like changing the team member on the middle of the project.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. That's very, very hard because there is a something called a handover session, which means that if you hire a new developer and if the previous one is about to go away, the old developer has to explain to the new one how the entire system works. So that is very, very important. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you leave, he won't import and won't explain everything. It means it could be complete. I mean,
100%.
everything has to be started from scratch.
Absolutely.
Insane.
Absolutely. And that part requires a lot of learning. Like I have made so many mistakes where the site had no backup whatsoever. That was a huge mistake because we were about to change servers and some of the developers didn't know how the AWS work exactly. And we were about to put the website on maintenance on Friday and we were going to launch a new website on Monday. And on Saturday, something happened and the entire web server was gone. And I talked to our developers. I'm like, what happened? And basically they said, well, we have no idea. We are so sorry. It's just gone. That was a very, very stressful weekend because we actually had to rebuild the site from scratch and still launch on Monday. And I remember I was paying them crazy money at that time, just to make sure that they don't go to sleep until Monday until this is done. I had to give them it was an extreme amount per hour just so they don't go to sleep. I'm like, I'm begging you, don't go to sleep. I know it's a weekend. I know you have a family. I know you're tired, but please do not go. And I kept raising the price to the point where they're like, okay, whatever, then I'll stay up and do it. And yeah, eventually they did it. And yeah, we just launched on Monday like Nothing happened.
Actually, well mentioned story, man. Like because I quite forget about it, but I remember you chat me, man. I'm exactly 25 hours awake. You won't believe me. This is what's happening when your server, someone hacked your server or something like that. Something is happening. I mean, which is like you lost it. Monday is supposed to be launch. I remember the time.
Oh, okay.
It's approximately 1.5 or 2 years back, something like that. And we like
Yes.
you texted to me like, man, you won't believe, but I haven't been sleeping 25 hours. But you know what's amazing part? We deal it and we complete it, and like Monday we are going to launch. That's the freaking hustle. That's the, like as you said, like nothing happening. Monday everything launched, nobody knows that kind of struggle behind, but you and your team were really like doing incredible work in the 25 hours of unstoppable performance just to fix the problem and make to people show the product like it's normal, instead of like waiting till Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fix it, and after that we'll launch it with the delays. That's an example, like you said, when someone achieving some first results start becoming lazy and lose that kind of hustle. But on your end, I know that you are one of those kind of people who I know from my surrounding who never lost that. I mean, you always in this mood, always. You're quiet person, but in the same time, there is always something behind going on in your head, and you do always this by sharing this kind of stuff, bro. I have something, bro. Like, it shows that you're always on the research of something new, or on this kind of like research mood, and to like make things, new things better and even more incredible. And I remember as well one case which is I'm not really sure if I'm gonna be sharing on this live, but I just remember that you made a huge impact on me as well. But another thing which is like because of you, I have made a bigger name of my brand, because like when war has been started in Ukraine, March, like I just went out from Ukraine. I crossed the border. This kind of shock in my head, like war, like my kid with me without wife, all that story, which is and some people already heard the For Media podcast. So when I share with you that story, you said to me like, man, it's incredible. I'm like listening the movie. I like fuck. It's not the funniest movie ever. But you said to me, you have to share with people. You have to speak about that because this is incredible. Like you were saying that you were feeling like the hair stand up on your hands. Like you really was impressed. And for me, it was a big moment because that moment I was depressed about everything was happening with family, with friends, with team members. But in the same time, later on, I realized that I have to share that story. And one time in my life, I shared that story in details. It was August, end of August in Atlanta. We recorded podcast with Four Media, and that podcast built for me such incredible presence and human touch for important people out there in my industry, because that podcast not many people are listening, but people who are listening, they're really big e-commerce guys, girls, and like just like awesome people. And when I came to one of mastermind later on in January, everyone like, Anatoly, is it you? Are you from that podcast? Is it your story? Oh my god. And it's because of you, man. I mean, because I wasn't thinking that I will be sharing with anyone about it, because it's super sensitive. It's not fun. It's really a struggle in the personal life mixed with the business. About a bit about my story, a bit about what was happening in Ukraine. But since I shared that as it is for almost 2 hours in the podcast in August, it's made a big change in terms of how people were interact with me. And again, just our conversations, like I love that we have to each other in our life, because this is like what people doesn't know, but like you and me knows each other from 2017 when I was completely just made it first steps into e-commerce. It was like first couple of months in my journey, this is where when we met each other. And I'm really grateful that Marco that moment show up and introduce both of us to that particular chat in Facebook. I have one thing as well to discuss with you, your new project. Actually, let's open the cards. Our new
Sure.
project, which we are working both of us, like which we were saying that we will share that at the end. Tell a bit more about it. Like now you diving into the e-commerce, how it will be look like, what's the idea. So let's share with people out there what's going to be happening in next couple of months and how we can really bring huge difference into the market.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, this actually goes back to one of the points that I made earlier about the fact that it feels very interesting to get back to the e-commerce space after so many years. But when you have the ability to basically leverage AI and technology, it kind of gives you an edge. So this actually gave me the edge to get back into the e-commerce space specifically. And I can still remember the day when you called me and you said, "Hey, Nex, I have an idea. I would like a platform where we can help e-commerce business owners to basically make their campaigns better. Maybe we can integrate AI, ChatGPT, and there was a third thing that you said, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I remember when you approached me and you said, "Hey, do you think there is a way we can do this?" And I'm like, "Sure, absolutely." By the way, be, just between you and I, at that point, I had no idea if we could do this, but I was like, "Sure, we can do it. Absolutely, 100%, guaranteed."
I know,
And yeah,
man.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, it was very interesting. The same day I had a call with one of our developers. I said, "Hey, do you think we can do this, or is this hard?" He said, "I have never done it, but I'm sure I can figure it out." Yeah, so yeah, it's yeah, that's probably one of the hardest things when it comes to an actual IT company. It's hard to find good people because being able to code and develop very well, it's not enough in itself because you have to find someone who you can completely trust and rely on, even if they are sometimes not getting paid. So I went through probably about 50 to 75 different developers from Fiverr and from all of these places. And man, it's hard. But now finally I have a team of really, really good people who know exactly what they are doing. They are very loyal. They are very good people. And I take care of them very, very well. So when I asked them, "Hey, do you think you guys we can do this?" And most people would have said, "Oh, I don't think so. I have no experience. I've never done it." But these developers told me, "We have never done it, but we will figure it out," which is the big difference. That's a massive difference. And yeah, I mean, building the site is easy, but obviously, as far as the ChatGPT integration and things like that is a bit more tricky. But I don't see it as impossible. The way how I see it, if somebody else done it, I don't see a reason why we can't do it. So
Yeah, and we are on doing that only couple of months, and actually, yeah, like 2 months at the moment. And guys, we have already visual part, which is soon we start sharing with you. So basically, this kind of software, this kind of platform will be help you out first of all to track the data from the social media platforms such as Facebook, TikTok. Later on, it will be email, SMS, and even Snapchat. So it will be different platforms grabbing all the data, and whatever you had missing data on your social media platforms when you're advertising, it will be delivering to you the correct one on that software. So there is a similar softwares out there, but we analyze them, and Next really push a lot of effort with together with his development team, which is already made couple of features which is making our software much better and more loyal to what people really needed from such kind of direction. Plus, we're going to be integrated chat GPT step by step, where you're going to be able to write down the perfect ad copy in couple of tasks. So you're just going to be giving the summary, this is the product, this is the brand name, this is the mission, this is the value of our brand, and this is our competitors review what people speaking about such kind of products. So please make for me 5 different ad copies which is going to be convertible well, and it will be created, our software will be making that for you, and there is going to be a lot of additional features which is like going to be perfectly sweet spot for the drop shippers, for the brand owners, for just e-commerce lead gen, like a lot, just step by step. Right now we already have visual part, it's already testing by my team, and soon we're going to be provided to our clients, which is first of all, they're going to be saving money, and you're going to be saving money from the expensive softwares out there, which is you are paying for to track your data. You're going to be receiving this soft completely cheaper, much cheaper than other platforms out there. So we want to help people this year to create a valuable product for the completely user-friendly price, which is going to be delivering value and at the same time making the software louder on the market. And without Next, I won't be able to do that. I mean, even without your IT team, you won't be able to do that. So the team is really the best thing, the biggest thing what we can be grateful for. Without my team, we won't be able to test it out. I mean, seriously, this idea, it's all about our people, you know? It's about, we
Yes.
have an idea, but our people are, only because of them, it's a reality. The reality is happening. And I'm grateful that both of us, we have this kind of teams, which is we able to change the world, we able to create something powerful. And that's definitely a way to go for any kind of business direction. Then there is nothing can stop you. I believe so.
100%. Absolutely. I mean, some people just, think that it's fine to be a bit rude, it's fine to be a little bit condescending, and it's like it's not, because at the very end of the day, we are a big family, and we just basically do what we have to, and yeah.
Yeah, bro. Okay, like we shared that it was actually a secret. We haven't shared. I haven't shared to anyone yet. But this is what is happening. This is what is coming, and people who gonna be jumping first on the software definitely will get the benefits of the some free time for completely for free testing time. Like as a beta testers, will be able to use our software completely for free for some time, and in the same time get the best benefits of the affiliate programs which we will create and so on. So like if you are interested in about it, like DM me software, and we will explain you details how it works, because in a couple of weeks we will start this kind of beta tester process, where we're gonna be inviting people to test out and give their feedback to make the program better. So you have this kind of possibilities to take an advantage and join the platform, test it out, use for it, make money from it, because it's help you out tracking the data properly. So scale your campaigns and like just use it on your own perspective, using our software, which we paid money for, which we're working on it the nights with our teams, just like completely for you. It's going to be free as a beta tester, and you'll get all the benefits and make money on the top of it. So just DM me the word software, and we're gonna be provide you the details and the login for the first 50 people who are gonna be able to join for this kind of beta testers community. Okay. And next, I would like to ask you something what I always ask all my guests at the end of the podcast. If you don't mind, I'm gonna be
Sure.
asking.
Sure.
Awesome. So basically, what would you choose? The journey or end result?
I would choose both.
No, don't cheat.
Would I choose the journey or would
Think
I choose
about
the
it.
end result? Regardless of what the journey is, there is always an end result. The big question is, are you satisfied with the end result based on your journey?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So in this case,
I feel like it's kind of an open-ended question, because the journey could be, I mean, if I would be sitting on my couch watching TV constantly, that's still a journey to a certain extent. Would I be happy with the end result? Probably not.
Yep.
But yeah, I see where you're coming from. I would definitely choose a hard journey.
Okay. Awesome. In the way, because this is build who you are, or in the way of just making fun of the process. What would be
Absolutely.
push you to choose the journey?
Hmm. Could you please elaborate more on your
Yeah,
question a
like
little bit?
what will would push you to choose the journey? Like because it's fun, or because it's building you like as a new person with the new skills, with the new experience, or because of something else?
I would say both again, because yes, I would definitely choose a hard journey because the journey is what's going to shape you at the very end of the day. The journey is going to give you the connections, the journey is going to give you the knowledge, but at the same time, what actually drives me, it's probably fear. Because the second, if I think back, as far as how I used to live in 2014, 15, 16, and so on and so forth, I don't want to go back there. So I used to be a very fear-driven person. So fear was actually my fuel for the whole time.
Wow, that that, that's why I push you a bit deeper to give explanation. Awesome. I love
Sure.
these examples because after several interviews, I would say nobody said these kind of things, which is you just mentioned about fear to become, but to go back where we came from.
Yeah,
That's a strong one. That's
absolutely.
super close to me as well. Love it, bro. Anyway, guys and girls, today I had an amazing conversation, an amazing interview with one of my closest friends who I met online. Don't be scared to start build networking, to commenting on the posts which you like, and messaging, sending DMs to people who you respect or just think that they are like mindset people. They are not scared people. They are looking as well to someone who can speak with them on their language. Like entrepreneurship, especially I would say online entrepreneurship in our days, it's a lonely journey, and you have to find out someone who lonely as you. And this is where we found out each other. We are busy with our stuff. Sometimes we can speak really rare, but at the end, when we are having conversation, we cannot stop. I mean, because this is who we are. This is what's make us like close to each other. And thanks God that we were able to meet each other back in 2017. And I'm grateful to have Next in my life. And Next, you're awesome person and you're honest person, and really love you, bro. It was enjoyable to speak with you on the podcast, and looking forward maybe in like 6 7 months we can record a podcast about the more details about our software, about how is that going, make it more interesting content. Sounds good.
Absolutely. Yeah, Anatoly, thank you so much for the invitation. And yeah, it was a great 1 hour.
Amazing. At the end, we'll put it everything, all the details of Next under this video. So if you want to reach out to him, feel free to do that. And in the same time, Next, if you have anything to offer or share with the people out there, give some guidance, please feel free.
Let's wait until we get started with our beta testers.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, have a great day to everyone. We are finishing on it and speak to you on the new episode.